Great. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you. First time presenting for the WACComp business matchmaking tool. My name is Adela Rashidova, as Sarah has already specified, and I'm comms and marketing expert here at ITC, International Trade Center. And I will be here presenting you one of our tools, which is called the Global Trade Helpdesk. And we together can explore how it could be beneficial for you. So if you allow me to share my screen. Okay. All right. Okay, that should be great. So in today's session, we're going to try to look at several tools helping you building your skills and reaching new markets. One of these tools is, as I've already mentioned, Global Trade Helpdesk. At International Trade Center here at ITC, we offer a multitude of services to the businesses that we work with. We work with different programs. We have different programs addressing managerial, statistical, operational needs, building ecosystems, help with policymaker work as well, working with governments, but mostly we focus on, of course, working with and helping these small businesses. And one of our core services here is the intelligence of business intelligence, promoting evidence-based decision-making through so-called global public goods. So accessible, free to use for the countries that we're working with and within the European Union, tools that would help businesses take informed business decisions before expanding their business abroad. And it is all very available, accessible, and easy to hopefully digest and access. So at our base, at our core, we have a set of different market analysis tools. Perhaps you have already heard of them. If not, here are some of them. There is much more than that. So one of the oldest tool is the trade map. It's over 20 years now to date. And this is a repository of statistics of export, imports. You can see bilateral trade data. You can see seasonality of trade. All you need to do is your importing market, exporting market, or you can see also statistics for the whole world if you know the product code for your product. We also have our invention here at ITC, which is called Export Potential Map, which shows the calculated in-house potential of export for a certain country, for a certain specific product towards the whole world. So depending on the demand, on the supply, on the bilateral relationships between the countries, we take all those quantifiable factors into consideration and come up with an export potential indicator. So this is kind of a forward-looking forecast, and we calculate it for 5 years into the future. We also have another portal, another essential tool, which is called Market Access Map. And here we have everything related to accessing the markets in terms of tariffs, regulations, barriers to trade, non-tariff regulations, so everything that is imposed by the importing country on top of the tariff. And we also have information on preferential trade agreements that you can also find in the rules of origin facilitator. And we have much more than that. So the challenge that many businesses face is that not only a small share of small, medium, and specifically micro enterprises are actively exporting and trading. The information is there. It is there available on the internet if you have access, but it is scattered. Not everybody knows about our tools, and they could be somewhat complex to use because they offer a very deep analysis, and sometimes it might take a business that is not familiar with it. Even for myself, it took a while to get a hold of all of our tools separately. So it takes time. The information is also evolving. You have to stay up to date. So we asked ourselves, how can we simplify the process to just have it all together in one resource? So in June 2020, our team has launched a platform called the Global Trade Helpdesk. It is a multi-agency initiative aiming to simplify market research, of course, and explore market access conditions. We have currently over 200,000 users across 190 countries and growing. And people usually like it. Here we see some feedback. It's comprehensive, it's easy to use, it's free, it's available all in one platform. It's an excellent tool. So without further ado, let's get a little bit deeper into what is the Global Trade Helpdesk and what it offers. So just ourselves alone in the house, we would not have been able to achieve creating such a comprehensive platform. So basing on the tools that I have already shown you, trade map for statistics, expert potential map to see, is there potential for my product at all in the markets? Of course, the market access map for the conditions. We want to see the tariffs and all. Touching on the sustainability map as well for some niche markets. And we have also been collaborating with other organizations such as WTO, World Bank, ICC have helped us spread the word and collaborated with us in some programs, spreading the word about the Global Trade Help Desk and such platforms as ePing, where we have notifications about the requirements. So all of our partners here have helped us make this comprehensive platform. So how do we use it? And what was our logic trying to put it all together? What are the essential elements that we have considered an exporter might want to go through step by step to analyze the market? First of all, of course, we want to look into the demand and export potential, right? To see if if our product is demanded in our potential target market. We want to see, of course, the market entry costs, right? So all the tariffs. Do we have any preferential access? So do we have any preferential trade agreements that our country, for example, our exporting country, has concluded with another country, our potential importer, which might have the export potential or other tariffs too high? What are the regulatory requirements? One of the most cumbersome things that exporters come across is not only sometimes really high tariffs that, of course, governments put for one reason or the other, but also the requirements. So everything related to health and safety, of so-called technical barriers to trade, all the requirements to the labeling. Of course, there is more to some goods than the others. For example, if it's a consumable for people, for animals, of course, there is more requirements on the safety, on the quality of the produce, on the labeling, of course. So sometimes the amount of the requirements and the complexity of them, even with the availability of a preferential access, preferential tariff, might be blocking many exporters. And if we want to reach some niche markets, so if we already comply without a problem with all the requirements, we have our interesting markets, we know our tariffs. If we want to reach some niche customers, for example, It is quite popular in the Western world, in the Americas and in Northern America, to have products certified, like organic certifications, all the sustainability standards. To comply with those, it costs money, and you need to know which standards might apply and be also demanded by specific consumers, because all the consumers are different, and different sustainability standards like fair trade, all the bio certifications, it comes at an additional cost. So with the Global Trade Helpdesk, you also have an overview of what could these standards be in the potential target market. And we have recently added a new part, new addition to our portal is the Access Digital Opportunities, where you could sell online. If you are selling your goods online, like handicrafts or goods in small quantities, you could check some e-commerce opportunities there. And of course, we want to have a look at our trading partners. So not only the potential importers in the destination market, which you could also access thanks to the trade map and Connect Americas, data from which we have imported in our portal, but also if you have issues related to intellectual property, if you want to look into some trade forwarders, we have also those on the portal. But I can speak about it for hours, but of course it's better to have a hands-on look on what I have been talking about. So we will just have a quick look at an example. We will take Nigeria, for example, as an exporter, and we will look into exporting preserving jars. And we will see which markets would be interesting for us in terms of our estimated export potential. So let's see. Let's go live, as we call it. This one. Okay. All right, so the portal is available via this address. So it's globaltradehelpdesk.org. If you type in Google Global Trade Helpdesk, it would send you right to the page. So on top of the page, you have some information on the temporary measures related to political and sanitary events of the recent past. You can also click on X, and this is sourced from the market access map. So most of the information you see here, you will see the links where it comes from. You can also read more about it, about us, about the initiative, about our partners, models. You can browse our resources. We have an HS code product finder as well. This platform is currently available on 8 languages: English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, Arabic, Bahasa Indonesia, and Mandarin Chinese. There is a login button here on top, but you do not need to have a login to browse 99% of the information here, approximately. For the 1%, this will be related to company data on TradeMap. But you can also log in to have an account on TradeMap free of charge. And I will show you later how you could do that. And once you have one login, you will be able to access all of our tools for free. They will be also cross-linked. If the system remembers you, sometimes it forgets because it's pretty old already, 20 years. So again, no need to have a login for company data on TradeMap. Get a login, you can register. And if you click here, it will send you through here to our generic access page for market analysis. And then you click on register and you create your free account. I can send the link in chat if you guys are curious. I hope you are. So again, free of charge, very quick to complete, but we won't get stuck with that. Get back to the Global Trade Helpdesk. So on the page, you can already start exploring your opportunities from the get-go. You could also read more about us, more testimonials. We have video ones as well. And you can read more about our partners. We also have Trade for SMEs, our partner from WTO, where you could browse their databases. It's pretty good knowledge resource in shape of an electronic library. So as I have promised previously, let's have a look at Nigerian preserving jars. So if you know already the code, and we are using here 6-digit harmonized system code, or we call them HS code for the product. You can already type in the code. If you don't, you can type in the keyword or one of the words from the description here and find your product. So, and it will give you top closest results to your query. So for this one, for example, for preserving jars, 70-10-10, this is carboys, bottles, flasks. The description is usually very long, but what you're interested in is right here at the end. So it's not ampoules, it's not stoppers. This is currently other. So containers of glass for preserving something with lids and closures. If you are not sure about your HS code, you can use the HS Finder tool. And you can also put in a keyword, or you could browse by chapter. So the system of classification of goods, for those who you don't know, it goes by multiple chapters, starting with 01 live animals and ending with 90, currently 7 here, works of arts, antiques, etc. So if you're looking for your specific product, you could also, or just out of curiosity, have a look at the breakdown of these goods. For example, for live sheep, the code is 010410. But let's stop at the preserving jars here. So once you click on it, you have the code and the description. And then you select your market. Now, if you already know the country, if you have something in mind that you already want to explore the opportunities for, you can select it here. If you do not, no problem. We can find markets using the expert potential map. So clicking on the button, it gives you 10 top markets ranked by total export potential in the coming years, in the 5 coming years for Nigerian export of those glass jars, preserving jars. And the bigger the rectangle, the bigger the export potential. So it goes like this for this particular case. Ghana with 1.9 million US dollars of export potential, followed by the US with 1.2, UAE, Brazil, etc. So we can click on Ghana, and if we click on Go, this gives us the market overview. Finally, what we were looking for. This is a bird's eye view of opportunities, conditions, and partners for the selected query. On the very top of the page, you see how attractive is Ghana's market overall for all the exporters. So as an importer, Ghana currently imports $25.9 million worth of these glass jars from the world. And this is for the past year, so 2023. Ghana is currently ranking as number 74 as the among the world's largest importers of that product. So not that high, but still in the 100. And later you see market perspective for Nigeria, as we are Nigerian exporters. We see that currently Nigeria has 43% of the total market share of imports of Ghana, this product. So it takes almost half of all the imports of those jars by Ghana, which is quite large. You see here the import growth, it is positive of 11%. This one we calculate for the past 5 years. And the export potential, as we've already seen, is 1.9 million US dollars. Again, this is, and if you don't know something, you have questions about the indicators, there is always a little metadata icon here, but where you can read a bit more about it or watch a video. So again, export potential is a benchmark value. This is estimations calculated here at ITC of the potential export of, in our case, so Nigerian glass jars to Ghana for the next 5 years, based on all the factors that we can calculate, basically. So demand, supply, distances between the countries, the relationships between the countries, are they already trading, not? So taking that and more into consideration, we come up with this value. This can change. We recalculate export potential twice a year, so the numbers might be different. So $1.9 million currently is valid by 2028, and this is not the amount that the country can reach by 2028. This is how much they can export every year consecutively. Now here what we see is that actually Nigeria has been outperforming our potential estimations, and here in 2023 it has exported 11,308,000 worth of USD of those glass jars to Ghana. So again, it is possible because of preferential trade agreements and large demand. It already takes a huge part of the market, then it means that there is already some good business, that it makes sense to trade those jars with Ghana from Nigeria. Sometimes the estimations can be lower, sometimes they can be much higher. The export potential might not be realized due to also many reasons. That could be economical, political, etc. But unfortunately, we cannot calculate that. Below here, you see Ghana's import tariffs. So you also read here that you are eligible for preferential tariff. So if you click here on more information, you see that, first of all, you have to double check the national tariff line. So that goes beyond the 6 digits. And it depends from one country to another. It depends how they classify a specific product. So depending on what kind of jar you have, the tariffs might change. But let's imagine it fits this description for the sake of the exercise. Here you see that there is an MFN duty, so most favored nation duties that apply to all the WTO members. Is 10%, but we've seen there is a preference. Indeed, it is of 0% because there is a trade agreement between the regional group among ECOWAS countries. And below here, you can check the rule of origin. What is it? For those of you who don't know, in order to be able to export your goods at a preferential rate, be that 0 or more, anyways, it will always be lower than the MFN tariff. An exporter must comply with the relevant rules of origin that are specified, of course, in the trade agreement, in the relevant chapter. And here, this is the conditions. So change in tariff heading, so specific processing, of course, to make the jars, or specific value has to be, of the jar has to be reworked in the region. Then there are the mandatory requirements, so those non-tariff measures, 2 on market conditions, 1 on pre-shipment and inspection, and 1 change, so not that many. There are also sometimes domestic measures that exporting market applies to their own goods for safety, for quality control. And so here you can consult those measures. We always also leave the source and the link to the original data source. So if you're curious to find that out, you can check it out. And we also have the notified changes, the e-ping platform by WTO, which notifies you about any changes to the regulations that have been identified, because the regulations are not that easy to collect. Sometimes we collect them. They will not be as recent as potential estimations, for example. We can collect them in 2018, 19. So these are relevant. So sustainability standards, as I've said, for the niche markets are available here. If you'd like to consult more, you can check the sustainability maps. So these are the standards that might be relevant in Ghana for the product selected. And for selling online, these are the tools you can consult. So an interesting part. So this is the Go Digital section here. You can also browse it right there. You don't have to scroll through the page. You can just check what you need, tariffs, regulations. So the low value shipments is what you see. All the shipments below this value will go tariff free. So this is also interesting for smaller shipments again. The online marketplace is relevant for you if you want to sell online, and you can see visitors and whether they're open to foreign sellers or not. And if you have your own website, we also have an overview of online payment solutions that you might want to implement there. Pros and cons, and et cetera, et cetera. So that could be interesting. All right. Where am I? And last but not least, the information on partners. So business directory, sometimes it's a few, sometimes it's much more. So you can consult those potential partners in TradeMap. Again, you will be able to do that if you have access to TradeMap. Here I'm logged out, so it won't show me. You also have the IP offices in Nigeria. So of course, for the exporting market, trade finance providers, if you need any trade financing, trade promotion organizations, and freight forwarders, if available. Now, for the potential importers, I've been logged out. But if you're logged in, you will see this. So you will see the companies in Ghana that have been put in one of the databases that we source the data from, and their potential contact information. Now, this is by the categories here could be quite broad, so make sure you select the one that applies to your specific product, but also please bear in mind that these are not the companies that we know are certified and already trade. So between Nigeria and Ghana, for example, these are just companies that are sourced from the database. Now they are self-reported. So when they registered on the database, their profile could be verified. So their details like emails, information on the employees, contacts, well, this one's empty, contacts, websites has been relevant to date, but the world is changing rapidly. So companies can change business direction, go out of business, change owners, phone numbers, websites usually stay. So make sure to double check that information, but it is already a really good indicator of the potential business partner for you. So, and if you are not satisfied with the result, at the very end of the page, you can select another market that you might be interested in, for example, Togo. And after you click here, it goes all over again. You have the same market overview page, and you can check the results for yourself. You can reach out to SME Trade Academy via the links on their portal, and for questions specifically on the Global Trade Helpdesk, you can reach us via info@globaltradehelpdesk.org. For those of you who still have the time and power to go through a few, just like one quick exercise, please stay put. So if you don't mind, I can share my screen and we just go through one final exercise when you guys will be able to access Global Trade Helpdesk, hopefully retaining what I've just a few moments ago been showing you. So let me just quickly share my screen. And all right, so hopefully you see what you should see. Okay, almost. There you go. All right, so we have been live. I've shown you a few ways of looking into information at the Global Trade Helpdesk and all the most relevant and interesting things that you might want to consider. Now let's do a very quick, painless 2-minute exercise where you access the platform. So let's imagine you're an exporter from Ghana and you're exporting cocoa powder. And I have a few questions to ask you. They will be copied in the Zoom later. So you're an exporter from Ghana, exporting cocoa powder. And the questions I would like you to tell me the answers for is, first one is, what is the market with the biggest export potential when exporting this product, cocoa powder? We have already the 6-digit HS code for the product for you, 180610. So is it Nigeria, is it Japan, or is it Côte d'Ivoire? Next question would be, what import share does Ghana currently have in this market? So the biggest market in the previous question. Is it 67%? Is it 35%? Is it 10%? And has the imports been growing or declining in the past 5 years? Growing or declining? And last question, how much will the importing market charge Ghanaian cocoa powder exporters in tariffs? 35% MFN duties applied to all the members of the WTO, 0% because there is a preferential trade agreement, ECOWAS, or 0% but only in case of a compliance with the rules of origin specified in that regional agreement. Now, I will launch the Zoom poll and you have 2 minutes to answer those questions. To answer them, you can go to globaltradehelpdesk.org/en. The link is in the chat. And here are the questions. So again, exporting cocoa from Ghana. So you go to the Global Trade Helpdesk, and on the main page, you already can see exporting market. You select Ghana. You are looking to export cocoa powder, so you can just type cocoa powder, or you can type in the HS code 180610. And then to find out the answer to the first question, in the importing market, you can select it, and without typing in any country, you click on Help Me Find Markets with the Export Potential Map tool. And then you will see that tree map, so a lot of rectangles with country names. So those are the results. Top 10 markets for your query in terms of export potential. And the one on the very far left top, or the biggest rectangle, is the market with the biggest export potential. And after that, you just select that market and click on Go to generate the market overview. And then you can answer the rest of the questions. So percentage of the import share the Ghanaian cocoa powder has in the total imports of the imports of that country with the biggest export potential. Has there been growing or declining? That one is a fairly easy question. And the last one, which is a bit more complex, what is the tariff charged for Ghanaian cocoa powder in that market? All right. I'll give you 20 more seconds and we can check the results together. All right. A few seconds. Okay, so I think we can end the poll now. See the results. Well. So the results are quite interesting. So for the first question, we have a tie between Nigeria, Japan, and Cote d'Ivoire. I hope you guys were not guessing, but actually checking. But no problem, we will check all together. So like this, you will definitely know how to select the market with the highest export potential for your product. So the correct answer was Cote d'Ivoire. The import share that Ghana currently has in this market is actually 67%, so pretty impressive, more than half of cocoa powder imported by Cote d'Ivoire is from Ghana. And the imports have been growing. Here you guys did well, correct, in the past 5 years. And for the most complex questions, how much will the importing market charge Ghanaian cocoa powder exporters in tariffs? The correct answer is 0%. Well, to be fair, it's like a tricky question because 35% MFN duties will be automatically applied, whether the exporter, whether there is a trade agreement, preferential trade agreement or not. But if the exporter complies with the rules of origin, proving that this cocoa powder is from Ghana to the authorities of the importing market. So here is Cote d'Ivoire. In case all the papers are duly completed, there's stamps and all the necessary signatures. In that case, the Ghanaian exporter can export the cocoa powder at a 0% tariff rate, which is very important. So now let me go quickly online and show you how we found all of these answers to all of these questions. Tricky and not. So again, globaltradehelpdesk.org/en. We are looking for exports from Ghana, cocoa powder. We can already type in cocoa powder. Is that our code? Yes, that's our code. And to select the market, we can click here on Find Markets. And it will show us Côte d'Ivoire has the biggest export potential of 107,000, followed by Nigeria with 82, Togo, Liberia, Gabon, Senegal, Japan, Angola, Kenya, and UAE. So the biggest one here is Côte d'Ivoire. Let's click here and click on Go. And we see that the current import share is 67% for Ghanaian cocoa powder. The import growth is positive. It's been increasing at 10%. And there is a preferential tariff, again, 35% MFN tariff for all the WTO members, which is quite high, but there is again 0% tariff rate, which is only applicable in case of compliance with these rules of origin. So this is a chapter on rules of origin, which explains how do they identify that the product originates from Ghana or part of the product originates from Ghana to get the necessary certifications. Okay, I think that is all for the quiz.